everybody, it's Madam Maddox and Yaz here. We wanted to talk to you today about what you consider cheating.
Yes, I think that many people have there's like lines in the sand. This is cheating for me, and there's literally, you cross that line and that's it.
Yeah.
You're literally...
I feel like most adults at least 25 years or older have either been cheated on or cheated at some point in their life. There's so much gray area, and not everybody in the relationship is always on the same page about specifically what cheating means to them.
I agree with that. I feel like it kind of ties into some of the other things that we've talked about. And one of the things for me is why it's so important in the beginning of the relationship to talk about the tough stuff.
Right.
Not wait until something's happened and now we're having the conversation.
Right. I think most relationships are kind of geared, especially the ones that start these days, we're always holding things back. Mm-hmm. We're always waiting to see. Everybody's afraid of making the first phone call, being the first person to follow up after something. It's always tit for tat. So people are very hesitant about opening up and expressing themselves, which makes it very difficult later on down the line to kind of play catch up and talk about some of these things that should have been established in the beginning.
And it's something like I have been saying from the beginning. It really frustrates me. It's really hard to get people to actually outside of cheating, get people on the phone these days.
Oh yeah, no, people don't talk on the phone.
I really miss
talking.
The nostalgia. I can remember waiting for that
phone call
and
after
then falling,
school.
Yes, or falling
being
asleep,
on the phone all night.
Falling asleep to that person's voice
I forgot about those days.
And building that intimacy.
High school for me, which was over 30 years ago.
And I think that if we got back to some of those more intimate moments and we went back to the time where we were building relationships
it's true courting.
Yes.
Prior to that, people were writing letters, and prior to writing letters, people would come every couple of weeks and visit with your family in the sitting room. I
miss that. I really do, and that is 1,000%.
That's a little extra romantic.
I know, and I might be just that. But at the same time, I think that because we're losing a sense of intimacy, we are lacking in the communication aspect of being. So if we took the time to get to know people and we were building on this intimate level, we go back 20 years ago, some of you may not have these memories, but there was a time where the home only had one
house phone,
one phone
in the kitchen,
and you're
with a long cord
fighting your sibling. I got someone calling me,
and there was no call waiting.
Yeah, and you would wait all day to have that phone call with that person, and you're building that connection. And by the time you've had that first kiss, you're all the buildup is there.
Right.
And this person on a level because you're spending that time, you're having that conversation, and you're talking about life.
Right.
All things life, right?
Mm-hmm.
I shit you not. How many times I send a text and people, I'm like, well, if you get time for this, and I'll just be like, fuck this, I'm gonna call you.
Right.
And boop, right to the voice. You just sent me 10 text messages.
Yeah.
And I would much rather hear your voice.
And sometimes calling is easier. It gets you direct to the point, and there's not a lot of misperception. Thing about texting, it's convenient, but a lot gets lost in translation. And so you cannot always fully express yourself through text.
So that brings us to lots gets lost in translation.
Yes.
So because we're not committing to the courting, and we're not committing to the communication, a lot gets lost in just general communication that we do allow, which is texting, and it is emotionless.
It is.
So we might say something in a text, but also a lot of times if you're doing something else, that's the other thing, is most people are not just doing laundry. They're doing laundry and making dinner. So if you're reading a text message, you may not just be reading that text message.
You skim it.
And you're skimming things, and therefore, if somebody were to have mentioned something that bothered them or they wanted, you
missed it.
You missed it.
I do it all the time. I am like a speed reader in life anyways. So I have a tendency to glance through the text and I'm always multitasking. And later on, somebody's like, hey, what'd you think about whatever? And I'm like, wait, what? I was like, I read the, let me go see. I read that wrong. I say I read that wrong every so often. You know, you really have to pay attention.
And at the same time, like, you know, you have somebody like myself, you and I are a little different. I'm definitely hyper vulnerable in the sense of I do wear my heart on the sleeve.
Right.
And I am the person who will write letters when I need something and when I need a deeper level of understanding on something.
Clarification.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Your 2-second text to my 10 other text messages.
That tends to get me in trouble frequently.
Yeah, so like if I really am lacking in...
I'm like, okay, thumbs up. Everybody hates thumbs up. They shouldn't have made it. They shouldn't have made the emoji if they didn't want us to use it.
Yeah, and I get it. We're busy. We're all busy. But were you too busy 20 years ago for that 15-minute phone call?
Me 20 years ago was different than you 20 years ago. So.
I get it. But I'm saying like...
Let's go back 30 years ago.
Okay, but I'm saying like I am that person that if...
I used to write letters.
I love writing letters.
I can't even fathom that right now.
Yeah, I like writing letters because number one, it gets right to the point. It tells people this is where I'm at, this is my state of mind, and it's pretty cut and dry. And
when I grew up, everybody didn't have a telephone.
Yeah, so you gotta write letters.
So growing up,
you gotta pass them back and forth to each other.
And like,
do you like me? Yes or no?
Not everybody had a phone. So
do you like me? Yes or no?
We would have to trek and schlep and get
so,
these things across.
Here's the problem. What is cheating?
Yes. So there's big debates about these things. I had a conversation with someone recently
about... I think that it's the communication. It's
communication. For me, it's intent. Because I'm flirty by nature.
Sure, me too.
You know, I'm flirty by nature. It's like how much flirtation is crossing the line. Yeah. For me, it boils down to intent. If that was something that was flirty, which is fun and outgoing and part of an entertaining personality, then I don't view it as a lascivious or sensual act. Right. Well, not necessarily sensual, because sometimes it's sensual, but not always sexual.
And I like to say...
So, like, is kissing cheating? To me, kissing isn't cheating unless I have the desire to...
And now I have to say, as your counterpart, like, what type of kissing?
See, then that came up too. So what type of kissing?
Here's why I say that.
Again, it goes back to my intention at the time of the scenario. And I'm only speaking for myself because, of course, I can't speak for anybody else.
Yeah, so I have to say...
So I'm a good kisser. So it's always going to look like on the outside like I was giving a nice sensual kiss. Because I'm probably am.
You're sensual. I get that.
Yes. I'm not going to give you a half-assed fake little peck kiss. It's not the same.
Okay, so
but to me, that was flirty.
From the devil's advocate, this is where like what we were talking about before ties into this now.
Right.
There's a certain level of intimacy that if I'm with a person, you are getting a specific energy that someone else will not get. So if
for me, kissing is not that one.
Yeah, so if the energy, I'm going to give a certain energy to my person.
Absolutely.
Where there is no doubt in their mind, regardless of any other scenario that you could possibly watch me in, you are getting a specific energy.
Same.
And so here's the issue with kissing. Kissing is intimate.
To people.
To many people.
To many people.
Now, here's the thing.
I'm not many people.
I can play the devil's advocate in the sense that, okay, I really enjoy kissing women specifically.
Right. That part too.
Specifically when I've
been drinking.
Yes, drinking and feeling a little loosey.
Yeah.
Because there's a level of intimacy
that women share.
Yeah, and sensuality. And there's like the softness of the lips.
I don't think men understand that because it's not the same.
It isn't the same, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I want it to go any further than that. It's just I'm playing in the moment. Yeah, I'm just playing in the moment. Now, if my dude was sitting over in the corner and I saw another man and I went over and started
making out with that guy.
giving him the same kind of like kiss that I would give a woman,
yeah, that probably wouldn't go over very well.
no, I would say no. I would say that would probably create some issues.
Tension and issues, undoubtedly.
I don't kiss anybody the same way that I kiss that person. And I feel like when you're putting that energy into maybe the same, so it would be
So the thing is,
I don't know. I feel like
it's all subjective, in my opinion.
And for some reason, men don't mind you kissing other women.
There's what someone else on the outside perceives, so your person perceives, and there's what you perceive. Two polar opposite ideals.
Sure.
So it's very subjective. Unfortunately, since people usually don't have the same paradigm, I would say you just have to come to an agreement.
I think it's an exchange of energy.
You'd have to come to an agreement but who's someone else from the outside to say what your intentional energy was?
This is true.
And if you were imbibing in alcohol, who's to say where anything was coming from?
Oh, this is true. And I think that we can all attest, if you are somebody who enjoys an occasional cocktail or two. And you
drink responsibly. Folks.
Yes. And you let your hair down, and things are just a little, put it up, put it down,
whatever.
But whatever the case may be, you get a little bit more relaxed and allow the situations to just kind of flow,
uninhibited.
Yes, and I will say that when I'm uninhibited, especially if I'm in an environment where I feel safe,
yeah.
Anything could happen.
Anything could happen. For me personally, I mean, again, I go back to, for me, cheating is intentional. So a kiss to me is not directly intentionally cheating. It doesn't get my goat. Doesn't really bother me to that extent. I feel like emotional cheating is worse than kissing. Being in a full-on blown relationship with someone else and you're not even having a physical relationship seems to me a little more duplicitous and devious than making out with somebody when you're drunk. Definitely having sex with somebody, if you guys have agreed to be mutually exclusive, is cheating, theoretically, if that's what your agreement is.
Oh, yeah. And before I forget, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment below. If there's something that we're saying, make sure you make a comment down below.
Let us know what you think.
Absolutely. Now, I agree. Like, I personally, because I am a sensitive human, and I absolutely like intimacy, I agree. Emotional cheating is probably... It's like right up there. If you have somebody in the belief that you are exclusive to them, and
for me, it's more like the betrayal. If you trust somebody more than you trust me.
Yeah, because, well, especially if
it's also, you have to be accountable. Sometimes people create spaces where you cannot be trusted, where they don't trust you with how they feel, or with what they have to say, or with what they're thinking.
Right.
Or,
and you're building on if you're emotionally cheating, that means what? You're building on an emotional level, and likely you're creating something that the other person would want.
Right.
So
it's a little bit of a fantasy going on there.
Yeah, and I think that what we've talked about in other videos is when you do something behind anyone's back. I prefer, if you're gonna, we all fuck up and we do things when we're not in our right state of mind, or I have been in a situation where the girl really wanted to make out with me and my person was there. I asked their permission. Do you have a problem with me doing this? No? Okay, proceed.
Yeah, and it might be a good idea if you're going out drinking to talk about the things that you might encounter before you get there, so that you don't have to do them.
Well, this was in their presence, but at the same time, like, if I were to encounter that, I still would shoot the text message and say,
hey, do you mind if I make out with this hot chick?
Yeah, and likely they're going to be like, send pictures, you know what I mean?
Right.
I want to see, but I do have a problem with deceiving.
Right.
Especially if it was something that was like made clear, where it's like, if at any point we're not on the same page, I at least would like the respect of knowing that I am not what you want.
Right.
Because you take away someone's choice
Yep.
when you're lying to them. You
You
take
do.
away their...
It's the lack of choice that gets my goat.
Yeah, absolutely. Where they are like under the guise that there's something different going on, and then instead you've got this person on the side, that person on the side, or trying to build something, and it's like a lot of people do this. It's like, well, I don't want to let go of you just quite yet because I want to make sure that this other thing
is working out first.
So I'm going to keep you kind of like on this like string.
Swing.
And I think that is equally fucked up.
Agreed.
You know, there are plenty of people on the planet and everyone deserves happiness.
Yeah.
And they deserve the truth.
Right.
So, and you know, I always say, if it's not me, then let me know, because I am at a place in my life where I'm not going to like fight for it.
Right.
If you tell me I'm not what you want,
what you
need, and you need more,
can be grown.
yes, I will.
And let it go, like Elsa said.
Yeah, let that shit go.
Let it go.
But do I think kissing is cheating? So there's a level of kissing that I would say maybe, where if it's becoming extra intimate, yes.
Yeah.
If you're talking about like light kissing and making out and it's like all in fun, nah, I would say probably not. But I would also, like, if I were to encounter that and my person wasn't around, yeah, I would feel the need to be honest about it. That's just my natural, like, because I would want that in return.
Right.
So I feel like, you know, you get what you give, and if you're not honest, it does somehow come back to you.
Undoubtedly.
What do you think?
Undoubtedly, I agree. I agree with that part. But I'm on the fence about the rest of it. The boundaries there have to be established by the two people.
Yeah,
and
I think
I
that's
just encourage everybody to come to a happy medium. It's kind of hard to really define what's considered the more intimate type of kiss for me personally, just because, like I said, I'm a spectacular kisser.
And if we were just having those conversations from the beginning and we were talking, like I was saying, like why I brought up like 20 years ago, because in those like moments when we were younger, we were building on,
oh my gosh, hope, faith, bubblegum. Who the heck
yeah,
knows?
like there was so much more connection
Reminds
being
me of my
built.
time at the roller skating rink.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, goodness gracious.
And I feel like the intimacy between two people and the connection was stronger. And you kind of, because you had already worked so hard.
Build up. It was the build up.
Yeah. And
everything was not so instant like it is these days.
Yeah. So I think what you said, I think establishing the boundaries, don't wait until something happens. No. Be clear from the beginning what you like.
From Jump Street.
Yeah, what you like, what you need in order to...
An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Save yourself in the beginning.
What is it, asking for forgiveness, not permission?
Right.
Don't do that.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Thank you guys for listening.
Yes,
we
want to hear your
comments. Let us know what you think. Yes, definitely.
Absolutely.
Comment, like, share. Let us know what's going on.
Yes, this has been Mathematics and Yaz, and hear me out, and
we'll see you soon. Be kind to each other.
Yes.
Bye-bye.